Hi,
Hi.
I'm Dave with Bayou City Brewing.
And I'm Andy with Bayou City Brewing.
Today we are brewing a oatmeal stout, basically.
Breakfast
with
stout.
breakfast beer. Can we start over?
Cut. We want to drink it in the morning. So biscuits, oatmeal, coffee, bacon, and syrup to get rid of a hangover.
This is basically where it's going to start here. This is the grain, which we'll be extracting the sugars out of this grain to end up fermenting. And this is also where most of the color in the beer comes from through different levels of toast and the malt. It's just like the way you roast coffee beans to get more bitterness or more color out of your coffee. It's the same thing.
Right now we're making water hot. We're going to add the grain to it, and it's going to extract everything from in the grain, and that's our mash. We're going to make mash. That's step one.
We're mashing. Mixing this grain and oatmeal with the hot water. And basically what you're going to have at the end is this big, sweet, sloppy mixture. And like with cereal, once you've eaten all the cereal, you have the sweet milk still there. That's kind of what you're going for, is the sweet milk of it, but it's with water and not milk. Basically, you can get most of the sugar in about 20 minutes, but you still want to let it go for an hour just to make sure you get the bulk of it out of there. Now this is our mash, comfortably resting at 150 degrees. It's you can see the liquid is already black.
Like a stout.
Yeah. And pretty soon we're going to start the filtering process of getting the grain particles separate from the liquid that we're going to collect.
It's called sparging. It's my favorite part besides hopping and drinking.
Now see what we're getting here. It's a completely black liquid. It's still got some of the grain particles in it. I don't know if the camera gets it, but we're starting to filter that out. The grain bed in here is going to act as a natural filter to get this liquid here. Now this water here is at 170 degrees. What that's going to do is bring this mixture in here, the temperature of it up to a point where it's going to stop the enzyme conversion process that's going on here. It gets too hot for it to go on. Like I said, if it gets above about 155, it kills it off. So we're going to mix in a lot of this water to stop that process.
How long should this be? Dangerous Dave. Diamond David Lee too.
So this is the sparging system that we have here at Bayou City Brewing.
It's highly sophisticated.
Yeah.
That's a we made that leak happen because you got to release the pressure of the flange from the
the wing nut.
the wing nut with the
that rotator cuff gets all clogged up and release the pressure. And there's the system in its full glory of what it's going to be doing.
This is space age shit. They don't call Houston Space City for nothing.
I used 9 pounds in this beer, which it should come out to a gravity reading around 1.060, which will be somewhere around 6.5% alcohol. And the way you find it out is after you've boiled everything together, you take a reading with a hydrometer, which shows you the level of sugar that's in the liquid. And once you have fermented your liquid, the reading at the end will be smaller, and you take the difference between those two, and that's your alcohol reading.
Great!
You can feed this to cows.
The cows that we ride to school on.
Yeah.
Here in Texas.
Which is different than our girlfriend cows. Okay, what we're about to do here is add the hops. The hops are one of the most important parts of the ingredients in the beer. They are what counteracts the sweetness of what's in this liquid here, all the sugar that's in there. It's got these bittering compounds in it that are going to counteract that sweetness to where it's palatable, and you can change the amount of bitterness as far as what style it is. This is going to be kind of medium. Hi, how's it going? Okay, so we're about to wrap up our boil here. We got about 5 minutes left. The flavoring and aroma hops were added with 20 minutes left. We kind of got high. Forgot about that.
I don't know if there's a lot of done.
But we've got our wort chiller in, what this is going to do once the beer is done boiling, we're going to hook this up to the normally cool when it's, you know, not summertime in Texas tap water that we have, and it circulates the water through the beer, cooling it down as fast as possible. That's going to help it, because once it's done boiling and the temperature drops, that's when it can when it can get infected, and that's when you have to worry about bugs and stuff getting into it. And we're about to add the maple syrup here. Maple syrup is pretty much 100% fermentable, so most of that's going to just turn into alcohol. Hopefully it keeps some of the maple character. I've never used it before, so here goes nothing. 1, 2, 3, 4. So here's our submerged wort chiller. Pretty much really cool. Most ghetto way of chilling your beer, but it works.
The cooling process is done. We've got it to a temperature we want it at to transfer it and test the gravity, and we're going to add the yeast. What the yeast is going to do is it's going to take all the sugars that we extracted from the grains, and yeast, what they do is they eat sugar, they fart CO2, and then they shit alcohol, and that's why we love them. The yeast is about to get its party on. Hey, sugar.
Yeast party! Yeah! So what I'm going to do now is seal it up. You want to have this bucket sealed to keep germs out. And we're going to fill this little guy up with some water.
This is a pressure release valve. Maybe you need to like grease that thing up.
That's what you said last night. So that's our little airlock there. It's going to start in probably about 4 hours from now. The yeast is going to start working, doing its thing in there, starting to eat the sugar. The yeast are going to continue to thrive and multiply. And then in the following week, it'll eat about 75% of total sugar. It's really good. It's my favorite style. Oh man.
Sweet lady booze.